right, we are live and unmuted. Thank you so much for joining today's Business Owners Live. My name is Michael Glover, and I am going to be your host today. I am the COO of Paramount Corporate and Paramount Leadership and a bunch of other different organizations, and am going to you live each week to discuss a little bit more about business and the tools you can use to help you be successful. Business Owners Live, actually, this is, I think, our second episode, and you can tell because my background is kind of iffy. Our building right now is currently under construction, and we're going to be having a great studio coming towards you here in a little bit. But I wanted to talk to you, everyone, today a little bit about the different types of things that you need for business. So what we always talk about are the four pillars of business, right? People, operations, sales, and finance. And all of that is important because people need to work and run your business, and you can't run a business without people buying from you and people working for you, and having goals and different kind of communication strategies and everything like that. For operations, we talk about technology infrastructure, best practice duplication, process documentation, things that you need to actually run the operations of your business, products and services, competitor analysis. Sales obviously is the lifeblood of your company. Without sales, you're dead in the water, right? You need a way for your business to make money. And then, of course, finance, you need to be able to manage that money. You need to have kind of some budgets and operating metrics. What else? Business valuation methods and things like that for when you want to sell your business. And so there's a lot to think about when you want to be successful within your business. And so we have some pretty cool, nice little video features here. That's kind of nice as I look through. But today we are going to be talking a lot about social media. Okay, so this falls into the marketing and sales part of our structures here, and as far as our pillars go. Social media is a great way to, let me get rid of that, is a great way to get your name out there. And social media, they say it's free, right? There's a lot of trade-offs for quote unquote free, but you're obviously going to get sold to, and there's different parts to social media that you pay for, but you can use social media for free marketing and what they call grassroots marketing. And it's a great way for organizations to build a presence online. When people want to work with us, for example, with any one of my companies, we have them do a vendor application. And that's part of our process, right? That's part of our operations pillar. Is in order for an organization to work with us, whether they be a vendor or a supplier, even sometimes customers, we have them fill out an application, and within that application they have to show us where are they, who are they, and a big part of that is their online presence. Do they have a social media handle that we can look at, especially a website? Do they have a website that we can look at and kind of look at where they might have reviews? Do they have a Google business profile? Do they have an Apple business profile? Can we see reviews on how they handle issues and problems? Something we've recently started looking at is the Better Business Bureau and Dun & Bradstreet sometimes, even though I have my own opinions about that kind of platform. But there's just a lot of different ways for us to be able to build our online presence. So we're going to talk a little bit about the different platforms that there are and what they're used for and how you should be using them. Now, I'm not a social media expert, but I am present on all of these platforms, and I can tell you how I use them and some of the best practices. There are going to be, whenever you get into social media, there are going to be people who are self-proclaimed experts within that platform, that they swear that they have the algorithm down, right? And there are people who are actual experts in how the algorithm goes. But one thing you have to understand is that that algorithm is constantly changing. And you might be the expert in the algorithm today, but if the algorithm changes tomorrow, then we're all starting from square one. Sometimes the algorithms don't change too much, but they do, right? So first off, why do you want to use social media? Social media is great to discover new ideas and trends, You can connect with new audiences in deeper ways. You can also network with other people who are like-minded. One thing that I really like here on, let's say, for example, let's first talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great because if one thing you have to understand always is that you are your business, right? You have your own personal brand, whether you like it or not, whether you brand it like I do with an actual logo and domain name and all that kind of stuff. You are your brand. And when I start working with people, the first place I go to professionally is LinkedIn and see, hey, can I connect with them on LinkedIn? Can I see what they're all about? What kind of articles, what kind of products do they offer? What businesses do they work for? What kind of groups are they involved in that I might want to be involved in? And so LinkedIn is great because you can build your own personal profile. And this is great even when you may not even own your own business yet, or maybe your business is in startup mode, but you build a personal profile. And in your personal profile, you'll have your picture and your banner, of course, but there's a bunch of different features within your personal profile that can bring attention to either your brand or your business. So there's that part with LinkedIn there, and with all these other social media platforms. A lot of times they also have business pages or business groups that you can create. And one thing I'm going to say first off is I've actually written an article on this. You can read it on the Paramount Leadership website. Is that you have to understand that LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and TikTok and all of these different social media platforms, there seems to be a million of them really, they own that content, right? So when you go to post pictures and videos and links and events, they own that content. And as of right now, they can decide whether or not to have the algorithm be in your favor or have the algorithm not be in your favor. They also have control over all the content you post on there. So the pictures you post of yours are now theirs, right? And a mistake I see a lot of times people make within business is that they only have a social media presence. They don't have a website. They don't have anything else besides a Facebook group or a Facebook page or a LinkedIn page to communicate with their clientele. And there's something to be said about that. It does keep things rather simple, but if I really want to see you as a reputable brand, I'm going to want to see some kind of website that shows me exactly who you are and what you are all about. Last year in 2021, Facebook went down for like half a day, maybe I think it was even a full day. And so all these social media influencers who get $1,000 per post, I don't know what some people get paid tons of money to post and promote brands, but they were out of a job for a whole day because they don't own that platform that they're marketing on, right? And so it just goes to show that social media, while important and a great tool to use, should not be the end all be all. And so, and we'll touch a little bit more on that. So LinkedIn, great for professionals. This is not your Facebook, your Twitters, and your Instagrams, right? People get actually mad if you start posting political things or very personal things on LinkedIn because it's supposed to be more of a professional space. So articles that you're sharing are for articles within your industry, maybe even live videos like this we would post on there because this is about business, right? Our other show, Kid Leadership, we would post on LinkedIn because it's about leadership. But if it was a post on, or if it was a live show on just playing around and just having a cool discussion about hunting or fishing or popular culture, we really wouldn't have that on LinkedIn, right? Because that's not the place. That's not where our audience is going to be for that specific show. And LinkedIn also has groups. Okay, so groups can be for people that have special interests. I'm a member of a number of nonprofit groups, business owners. There's Arizona business owners. There's Miami business owners that I'm a part of. All that kind of stuff. So LinkedIn has that, and that audience is going to be more for the professional side of your business. Okay, so Facebook again also has profile pages. They have business pages, brand pages, and groups, just like LinkedIn does. But your audience is obviously going to be very different. It's going to be a little bit of my generation. Okay, so people in their 40s, 50s, maybe this was kind of like the second, I think, social media platform that was on there besides maybe MySpace that, basically faded into the background when Facebook took over. And around that same time, Twitter also showed up. We'll talk about Twitter here in just a little bit, but Facebook is more of, connecting with family, friends, uh, and having that kind of audience. And so it's not really focused basically on business. It's now turned into a big platform for people to vent certain things, share news articles. Politics is big on social media, so you can always share that. Twitter is even more political. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But Facebook, you can do regular posts that are just text, pictures, videos, you name it. You can post pretty much anything on there, and you'll get a lot of ads for it as well. Okay. All right. Now, Instagram and Facebook are actually the same company. They're actually owned by Meta, which is owned by Mark Zuckerberg. He basically changed Facebook into Meta, and Facebook bought Instagram many years ago. And so there's just a bunch of different things that you can do. Instagram, you really don't have groups and pages. You can follow what they call hashtags, right? You can follow topics and specific people, but when you log in, you're logged into one account, right? And so if I have my personal account, I have my business account, I have to be logged into separate profiles for that. I can't, like on Facebook, I can be logged into my personal profile that has access to my business pages and my business groups. But on Instagram, not the case. All right. And that's primarily just pictures, mainly the square pictures, maybe even the 16:9 photos and some videos. They do Instagram Live. Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and all these other platforms allow you to go live, like on StreamYard, like we're doing today, right? You can stream to those platforms from StreamYard, but Instagram is still locked as of today. Is still locked on just doing Instagram live videos only from their platforms, only from their mobile devices. So they're still a little restricted that way, but they also have Instagram Reels, which are quick 15-second, 30-second videos, kind of like what TikTok is now. They all kind of follow that trend a little bit. All right, Twitter. Twitter is, you can also post pictures and videos, but you're very limited on the character count of your texts. And it's become very politicized ever since certain political figures have gone on there. And now, especially with the buyout of Twitter from Elon Musk, who's doing wonderful things, in my opinion, for free speech and for, whether you're on the position of free speech or misinformation or whatever you guys want to call it. I think having a discussion about all of it is great to have, because then we can all kind of make up our own minds about things. So that's just my opinion on that. But Twitter is very fast paced. It's like Instagram, where you're not going to have groups or business pages. You'll have business profiles, right, that you can be logged into, but you have to be logged into one separately from the other from there. So that's a little bit about Twitter. There are more social media platforms right now. Big one, TikTok, Snapchat. There's MeWe. There's Truth Social. There's Rumble. There's a ton of social platforms now, and it's pretty much impossible to be on and active on every single one, right? So you have to really kind of identify who your audience really is. What is their age range, right? When you go to select who your audience is, you select, pretty much create a picture of who that avatar is, right? Is it a male in his 30s? It is a female in their 40s or 20s? You really kind of paint a picture, and then what social media platform are they going to be on? And another important fact, that like on TikTok, I can't dance worth squat. So am I going to be on TikTok? Maybe, but it's not going to be me dancing, right? And my audience is not the young, 18, 14-year-old kids that are on TikTok. My audience is going to be more LinkedIn, Facebook, maybe the more mature audiences who want to improve their business, right? And so that's something to consider, and where to focus your attention. And you do want to have a presence, and setting up a presence on a social media platform is not that difficult. Okay, so you want to have that presence. It's really important to capture your handle on there, right? So the little @ symbol at Michael Glover, right? That's what I am on Clubhouse, but on other platforms, I'm at the Mike Glover. Michael Glover is a very common name. And so it's hard to capture that as soon as a new social media platform pops up. Seems like they're popping up every year. There's a new one. And so that's just something to think about when you're doing social media. Uh, Social media is great also when you are trying to do lead capture. And there's a lot of people, especially like on LinkedIn and Instagram, all over the place that shoot what's called a DM, direct message. And in these direct messages, people are doing what's called social selling. And they use these platforms as a funneling platform, right? They first generally pique some interest and get some attention in their brand. They post a lot of personal and fun and even really funny stuff. The internet is hilarious, right? But they post that material probably about 80% of the time. 20% of the time, they're probably going to be posting something about their business or their brand and what they're selling. And when they do that and you like that content, you're going to see more of their content. And they'll even reach out in a personal direct message to you and to try and funnel you into either their website or some kind of funnel, sales funnel that will promote you to spend money. And that's a great social media tool. A great way to use social media is to funnel them into a certain uh, sales process or sales cycle that gets you to spend money and use their platform. I personally don't like getting direct messages on social media for business selling. I am more of the building a foundation first, building a relationship first, and then talking about the type of business that people do. I'm more interested in the kind of ambition people have and what they do for their business. But if I'm interested in what they do for business, I'm going to ask about it, and then the sales cycle can begin. But straight up cold, DM chats. A lot of times they try to connect with me on LinkedIn, and then as soon as I connect with them, bam, there's the sales pitch. And I think that's detrimental to the sales process personally, just because when I connect with somebody on LinkedIn, I'm trying to connect them to my professional network. And I'm more about, hey, how's it going? Tell me what you do about your business, right? And then we talk about our business and what we do, and they really take interest in it. They might like my business page on the social media platform, and then they start talking about what they do, and that's a lot better than just connecting with somebody and then automatically just going in for the sales pitch. And a lot of times, you're going to get that no. And I think the average no before you get a yes is like 7 times in a follow-up. You have to follow up 7 times before someone's actually going to say yes. So how many touch points do you have to actually do, and how are you going to do that? In social media marketing, you can what they call scrape their emails off of the social media platform, which typically is against the terms of use of the platform. But that's why it's really important to use an email address where you're going to recognize how they got your email. And we can talk about that more in a separate discussion. But uh, setting up an email address so that if I get an email that I know I use for my LinkedIn profile and knowing that they scraped it, then I'm never going to spend money with that person, right? Because they went around the process. To me, that's a big violation right there, is because they're trying to find ways, instead of asking me for an email or where to send information, they're just taking it and trying to sell me from it. And that's a huge violation right there. So if you're in the business of scraping emails off of social media platforms, stop. Don't do it. It's stupid, and no one's going to spend money on that. And I could be wrong. You might be able to get some person to spend some money on it, but that's not going to be a long-term relationship in my book. So that's pretty much what I have for today on Business Owners Live. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. We are trying out a few new things. Don't forget to, let's see, where is my, oh, there it is. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you are watching to the Paramount Leadership Network. We will be going live every week. Also, we take this and we put it on our podcast, so you guys can watch that as well or listen to it. We do video podcasts on YouTube and Spotify, but if you're listening on Apple or Google or iHeartRadio or something like that, definitely feel free to follow it and give us some feedback on what we can do more to better support you in your business. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye bye.